everybody! Today I want to show you my watercolor techniques for backgrounds and for loose watercolor coloring. And for this I'm using my Schminke watercolors. I filled up my little Schminke box lately, and now I'm totally in watercoloring, but I'm really not a pro, but I just wanted to show you how easy it can be to do some backgrounds. So I'm using this watercolor paper. It's from Crafter's Companion, and it's the most white watercolor paper I got till now. So all the other papers are mostly lightly yellowish. So also I'm using some of these stamp sets from Create a Smile. It's oh, I don't know the English names from the first one. The second one is Scene Builder. Then it's about frogs. I don't know the English title. And it's Seagulls. Yes, and I stamped some images on the same watercolor paper, and then I use, of course, I use some brushes. I'm really, as I told you, I'm not a pro. For example, this brush I think I got secretly from my mom when I lived at home years ago. I think I've stolen the brush. I don't know. So I have no idea where I got it from. So I just use a big brush and small brush. This is my secret. So, and for this video I did some sketches before that I have a kind of a plan for today. So I'm starting with my first card, and yes, it's red. I start with a little bit of my color and a lot of water, because I want to start with a very light color, because getting darker is easily than getting lighter at the end. So okay, getting lighter is impossible. So that is why starting with a very light background is the best way you can start. So, and now my paper is wet, and I put some darker red on this wet place. So you can see the color is kind of floating over my paper. And yes, most of the times I try to take my heating tool to dry my paper first before I do another layer. But in this case I added it on my wet paper and it floated, and it was okay. But on my third layer I dried my paper before, so that I have more control, and I have more of these kind of edges, because it's a very clear layer, and maybe because of the drying with my heat gun. So yes, but there's no fixed system behind my, or I have no straight plan I using when I'm doing backgrounds. I just put some color on my paper, and I think the whole video is for seeing me doing nothing complicated. So some of my followers on Instagram or at my videos asked me how I do these backgrounds, and I think maybe I did kind of these videos before, but I really just want to show you how easy it is. So now I color in these flower. I have no idea what the English name is, sorry. And like I did it on my background, I start with a very light color before with a lot of water, and then I gave it some seconds to dry a little bit, because when you want to have very dark color, then you need to color on dry. And when you just keep it all wet, then you have the possibility to let your colors floating on the image. So you will see me, you will see some more images, and it's mostly the same process, so that I add color and dry and add color and dry. I'm not So easy, happy with my result. But as you can see, now while it's drying, it became get. Okay, we German have a huge problem with get and became. I think in this case it's get. So my image gets these great watercoloring edges when it's dried, and this is what I love so much about watercoloring. And I think this is what I'm doing is kind of loose watercoloring. When I color some images and want to have a real coloring result with good shading, I mostly use my Zig brush markers because they have no struggles with my too wet brush or too dry brush or too much color or too less. So I have more control with my Zigs, but I think the color intents from these Zigs are not so they are not made for images for years, or that the color will lose over the time. So I think these I don't know what to say. So, but I also love these kind of loose watercoloring, and I think it's important that you have some images which are not so detailed. So. I think the best images I like the most for these loose watercoloring are flowers. Maybe the flower I recently colored is the best image in this whole video. But it's your decision. You can say what you like most. So now we come to my second card. And I think now I'm at the point to excuse again my English. It's really not the best, and I have no plan or script. I just talk, and yes, I missed the grammar lessons at school. So I love English, but I'm not able to speak English so right. So I'm really, really sorry for that. So this is my second color, and in this case I wanted to create a kind of background, heaven, sky. A sky. And as you can see, I used my heat tool, and in this case it was not so great. It dried kind of ugly, so that is why I gave it a second layer with really dark color, or darker, because I wanted to cover the first mistake sky. But I think in this case I only took 2 layers, and then I was happy. When you have more time, maybe it looks prettier to leave it dry by its own. Let it dry by its own. But I have not the patience for waiting for this. So, and on every of my cards, I do these water drops. I like it very much. I have some struggles with pattern paper, for example. So when I do little boxes for some chocolate or things like that, I like it to sprinkle some maybe golden color on it, so you have a kind of pattern in the background, but it's not a pattern which hurts my eyes. So that is why I fall in love with these water sprinkles or water drops, and it's a really easy way to give more interest in the background. So here I color the balloon with the same color I use in the whole video. I'm sorry for that. Yeah, I'm not such a pro at mixing colors. I think there are so many colors, but I'm just using kind of red, blue, and green, and my color palette is not so huge, I think. So, and also I forgot to color these little I don't know the name. These little white things in the middle of the balloon. What is the name? I wanted to color them in yellow, and then I was frightened to color it, and my yellow color will flow over the red balloon. So I thought I'm really clever to color it later, but then I forgot it. I recognized this when I took my pictures for the video, and this was too late, so I left it like this. Sorry. Yes, and now we come to the third card, when I count right. It's about this cute frog, and I told you I'm not a good color mixer, but in this case I tried to mix it on my paper, but it was not such a good idea. So the color is kind of light and kind of undefined on is it a purple or so. That is why I put a lot of green over it, and the problem with so many color, also intense color, is that it's kind of chalky when it's dried. So it's no problem, but it feels a little bit different than when if you do some light color or not so much color. So, but in this case, it was so easy. I just did a little fail and covered it, and it's a green background. And again, it's not a great secret process. It's so easy. Just put color on your card and it looks like an interesting background. Add some drops and it's more interested. So, yes, it's red again for these little mushrooms. And again, I tried a lot of layers because I always wanted to have some parts of these mushrooms very dark. But when you color on your wet paper, you cannot achieve such a great darkness because you come in with your brush again and again. And so the best way is to leave it beside, let it dry a little bit, and then you can add more darkness to your mushroom or to your image. So now the same game with a frog. I do 1,000 layers, I think, for getting some of these parts darker. I start again with very light colors, and then I 1,000 times, I told you, I try to get darker. And yes, but I don't give up. So I think you do not need to be what is the name in German or the word? You do not need to be perfectionist. So you would have a better life with coloring. And this is the fun about these loose watercoloring. So it does not necessarily look perfect. So the great thing about it is that it has to look loose. Oh, sorry, it's so late. I think it's 1:30 in the night, and my English is getting better, worse, much more. But oh God. So yes, it's 1,001st layer of this frog. I tried to get him a little bit darker under his head or under his chin, and yes, but the watercolor is floating. This is what I mean. I try to get this belly dark, and it's getting light all the time, so I give more darkness. Now I try the darkness on the mushrooms again, and then I come back to the frog. It's yeah, it's a never-ending story. But no, sometimes it ends. So now we come to the end, the last touch on the frog, and now it's enough. So I like the head the most. I give it another chance. Oh God. So, but now we are finished, and I put it aside for letting it dry. And then I come to my last card, I think. This is and I change my water. And this is another possibility you can do with backgrounds. You can't with watercolor backgrounds. Not only these whole cards, but you can color in some easy pattern. And yes, I told I'm not a huge pattern friend, but this is so smooth or so so quiet that I can live with this pattern. But I can't live with these strange ends of the stripes. I have no idea how I could have avoided, but later I come with a smaller brush and try to fix it, and it works really good. And as you can see, I can even get some stripes darker without any fails. Yay! So here you can see these ugly ends, but you can reactivate with a watercolor, with a water brush, these parts, and then I can make my stripes beautiful. Oh God, another some minutes left. I'm so sorry. So, and on this card, I think it looks kind of like a seagull card. So we need a seagull, and I had not a really good idea how to color it, and as you can see, I got a little bit over the lines. That is why I put a very light touch of this color over the whole seagull. But at the end, I did only a darker part on this wing. And of course, I gave some yellow-orange color on the, is it a cheek? No, the thing instead of the nose. So, and of course of the feet. And yes, again, some of these dark color, kind of mauve, or what is it, on its eyes. And so, yeah, I think the seagull do not need really more color. So yes, I tried to put in a little bit orange. And the whole magic is to have the right you God, your brush is needs the right water. What is the Menge? I'm so sorry, it's so late. So yes, at the end I did some water drops, and we come to the end of the video. Oh God, thank God. So here are all my backgrounds and the matching images, and I just fussy cut them, put them on the cards with some double-sided foam tape. And because of the length of the video, I cut it out for you. You do not need to see the whole card making process. So this is the flower, where I do not know the exact name. In German, I know the name, yes. So this is a card with a balloon. This was the last one I finished. And yes, here you can see all my 4 cards from the video. I hope it helped you, or you give watercolor backgrounds a chance now. And I hope you enjoyed the video and not my English skills. I'm sorry. And thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.